Olympia, to our winner and new Olympia champion.
The Dutch Oak has arrived. Alright guys, day number 3 here in Las Vegas. Sleep was a bit better last night. I woke up at my very lightest today, below 112 kilos, which is far below my weight limit, at least a kilo below it. So the coach ordered some more carbs today, which is of course something I love to hear. So I'm going to show you today a full day of eating in the peak week before the loading starts for the Mr. Olympia competition. And every single day I like to start out my day with a liter of water. We also have 20 grams of glutamine. Glutamine is exceptionally good for the digestive tract, for the intestines. It heals intestinal cells. That's what they use to actually repair themselves. And the better digestion, the better everything will be absorbed, of course. And also 10 grams of creatine. Now the nice thing about this, it has fresh cherry flavor. So I mix that with the glutamine. And when you mix it, the glutamine of course doesn't taste like anything, but this makes it taste pretty good. So then I down that as well. And then I also have my supplements. We have omega-3, we have some magnesium, apple cider vinegar, some zinc, vitamin D3, K2, which is what I like to have as well. But especially in the morning, hydration is very important. So we already took the walk. I already had this glutamine mixture with the creatine to ensure I'm fully hydrated. Then take the walk. So at least 1.5 liters of water is already in the system. And now it is time for the first meal of the day, which is the victory breakfast. Kaboom! So we have some frozen colder fruit here. And on top of that, I put some fresh, delicious strawberries, just like that. This is my favorite spoon. I always take it from home. It's not even from my own home, it's from my mom's home. So this is the spoon I had even before I was together with Marley. So this is my bodybuilding history spoon. So always gives me luck. So I press down a little bit on the fruit to create a nice, sturdy, cold layer for the most important part, the whey drip, which also is already prepared. In the peak week, I like to switch to ISO whey protein. The difference between ISO whey and the regular designer whey, this contains just a little less fat, a little less carbohydrates, so it's a more pure form of protein, which is really only necessary for people who have, a severe lactose intolerance, which this removes the lactose, the carbohydrates from the designer whey, but also for a peak week like this where you want to eliminate every single thing from every single food group, such as you don't want any carbs or fats with an addition of protein. So this is what I like to use. But guys, way more importantly, this designer whey is of course stroopwafel flavor. When this video comes out, the next day this will be released. So Wednesday, October 9th, 6 p.m. CST, so Central European Time. This will be released. Trust me guys, you want to be quick because this one will be sold out. And it's also going to be part of the Olympia bundle. So this creatine together with Crank Pump Pro is my Olympia bundle, and you can get that with code Wesley for 25% off only during Olympia week. Enough talking, let's put the whey drip on top of the victory breakfast. And if you want to know how to make the victory breakfast, well, I'm going to make the post-workout meal after this, and then you guys can see exactly how I make it step by step. But just, ooh, look at that. The thick whey drip. Even with the ISO whey, guys, it is possible. And now the best part of the whey drip. So this is my victory breakfast. I can never skip taking a picture putting it on my stories to show you guys exactly what I'm eating every single day leading up to Olympia. So first of all, thanks for watching this video. But if you haven't followed me yet on Instagram, you can see even more sometimes behind the scenes stuff on my stories. Anyway, let's enjoy. Alright, so I had the breakfast, did some work in the meantime on the laptop. Taxes still need to be done even in America. But now it's time to make the post-workout victory meal, which is the exact same as the breakfast, but then with more rice flour. But since you guys always ask me how do you make this, I'm going to show you exactly how. So we're going to work with cooked water, so boiling hot water. So I'm going to put 1.5 liters of water in here. In the meantime, we can create all the parts, the ingredients for the post-workout victory meal. Well, just adding this powder. This is egg white, dried egg whites. This helps to bring in a lot of volume. In the off season, I don't use this. In the off season, I actually use vegan protein, the designer vegan protein by ESN. It creates some thickness as well and some flavor, but this is pure protein. A little bit of stevia sweetener. We want it to be a bit more sweet, just a little bit like that. But that is just the sweetness, but we want actual flavor. And with the Flavor and Tasty, just one good scoop in there. Oh. Smells so incredible. Just look at this dark cookie crumb. Next ingredient, psyllium husk. Add some important fiber, because there's not a lot of fiber in all my meals throughout the day, because I want to keep that consistent. But this will add a little bit of bowel movement after this meal. It's a huge meal, so you want a bit of fiber to be included. Next ingredient, cinnamon. Quite a lot of beautiful cinnamon, so at least 3 grams there. Adding the salt with the micro scale, putting it on 0 right here, then putting in 5 grams of this. Checking in the meantime. Perfect. Then the next step is the rice flour itself, of course. 160 grams. So this is the biggest carb meal of the day. Post-workout, you can utilize those carbs. And that's exactly what we're doing right here. Using the biggest amount of carbohydrates after the workout. Kaboom! And now, very, very important, you want to mix everything up with a whisk. If you add the water now, it's going to be messed up. So mix it up with a whisk until everything is blended up perfectly. So you don't want any part of dried egg whites on one part, rice flour on the other part. You want everything to be perfectly mixed up. So otherwise you get lumps and clumps and you don't get the perfect consistency of this meal. Just like that. We're already going to create the whey drip. Once again with the ISO whey. Put in the scale right here. 50 grams of whey isolate. Always got to take a smell test because it smells amazing. So put in 50 grams in here. And a 1 and a 2, a little bit more. You want to add a little less water than the amount of whey, but because it's isolate, it's a bit thinner than designer whey, so you want to add about 10 mils less than the amount of whey. So 50 grams means about 42, 43 grams of water. A silicone spoon. We call this a pannenlikker in Dutch, which means a pan liquor, literally. But it really means you can get all the edges of all the powder from the bowl I'm holding, perfectly mixed everywhere. As you can see, you can already see it thicken up nicely to create the perfect whey drip. And keep doing this until everything is one smooth paste. And then you put it in the fridge so it can thicken up even more. Perfectly on time because the water is now done boiling. Put this in the fridge. Just like that. Now, another important part. We add the water to this meal. You want to make sure to spread it evenly. Look at that enormity. And once again, you take the risk and you mix everything up to perfection until you get a nice blended mass. But adding the cinnamon and the flavor powder already creates a very nice smell, and I'm honestly very, very hungry right now. Always happens when my weight gets nice and low below the weight limit. My body is like, keeps firing away, which is good. It's depleting my body right now, and that means I'm craving the carbs, which will be happening right now. It's Monday. So on a Thursday will be the start of the loading phase, which you guys will be able to see as well in all of its glory. So you can see it's a little thick right now. It's a little thick, but we're still going to put it in the microwave. But before we do, one more very important aspect will be added, and the smell of this cannot be beaten. Calabout Power 80 dark chocolate drops, or they like to call it dark chocolate callets. So once again, we have the micro scale, because this is a fat source, so you want to be precise here. So it should be 10 grams. Now I say precise, but at least, oh, wow, you gotta film this. Exactly 10 grams. Now, to create that lava cake consistency, we gotta treat ourselves a little bit when we have the opportunity, right? So put this in the middle. So I take 2 of these callets and I push them a little bit in the middle like this. So whenever I eat this meal, you eat around it and you end with the best parts. Now, why do I add dark chocolate? It's a fat source. Well, first of all, 10 grams, you cut that in half, and that's the amount of fat basically you have left. The other, it's 80% dark chocolate, so you still have a little bit of sugar in there. But mostly I take it for the antioxidants. But mostly above that I take it for the incredible flavor, obviously. But there's antioxidants in there, it's good for the heart. It's good for nitric oxide production, keeps the veins nice and open, and it's just healthy. So why not put something healthy, delicious, and nutritious in a meal? So now we're going to put it in the microwave for about 5.5 minutes. So now it's going to be thickening up, and I'm going to leave it in the microwave and only take it out when we get back for the pre-workout shake. First thing we're going to do, because we're sweating, is this is Himalayan pink salt. Once again, we measure this. Should be 1 gram. So normally I would work with grinds, but every grind can be different. So then you can see 1 gram. Now we're going to be adding the good stuff. First, water to make sure it doesn't stick on the bottom. Crank. This is the pre-workout that contains the caffeine, the stimulants. So I'm going to put 30 grams in there. Yes, normally I think the scoop size is 19 grams, but I'm the Dutch oak. We're going to go for 1.5 scoops here. So crank part 1. Now we're going to go for part 2, Crank Pump Pro. By the way, once again, This is part of my Olympia bundle, together with the creatine and the designer whey. Another 30 grams in there, which will leave you with 60 grams of powder in total. Now I put 1/2 of room temperature water in there. The other half will be cold water, so it doesn't hit, because my stomach is literally totally empty right now, so it doesn't hit my bloodstream immediately, because we're still going to drive over to the gym. So I'm going to take some cold water. Yes, you want to have a lot of water with your pre-workout, because it's not the powder itself that has the effect, it's the powder, the ingredients with the water that has the actual cell swelling, vascular creating effect. And Crank Pump Pro, by the way, it causes with L-citrulline, arginine and other ingredients to create a good pump and the blood flow, to get those carbs in the breakfast into the muscles, together with just like the dark chocolate has the nitric oxide production, opening up the veins, putting the oxygen, the nutrients inside the muscle. And now let's enjoy this, because this is quite delicious. Intra-workout time. We're gonna take 2 shakers, because we're gonna drink 2 liters during the workout, and we're gonna use aminos for it. These are EAAs, but together with coconut water and other minerals to replenish the minerals you lose during sweating. First order of things, once again, Himalayan pink salt, extra minerals and especially sodium to keep the pump going during the workout and to replenish the last minerals from the sweat. So 1 gram in each, exactly 2 grams. Add a bottle here. $15 grams of these aminos per shaker, and that's all you really need to create an incredible flavor and more than enough anti-catabolic effects from the amino acids, the essential amino acids. Don't go for BCAAs, go for EAAs, which are in these aminos. This flavor is peach iced tea, tastes amazing, makes it so much easier to get this water down during the workout. Trust me guys, if your strength in the workout is dwindling, usually it has nothing to do with the glycogen stores, it has more to do with poor hydration. Hydration is super important, not just for an incredible pump, but also for incredible performance. And we all know, if you keep your strength the same during the prep, you keep all of your muscle, and that is what we want. Even during this week, where of course I don't push myself to the limit, you still want your strength to be as high as possible to tell your body, hey muscles, don't go away, we still need you. So now you can also see how much water that I drink. So in the morning, I already drink 1.5 liters. In the breakfast itself, there is a bit more than 1 liter. In the post-workout meal, there's 1.5 liters. And in the pre-workout meal, shake, there's 1 liter. Here's 1 liter, there's 1 liter. So you can do the math of how much liters of water that already is. And then we're only through half the day. So, let's train. We just arrived back home. Nice workout, nice and simple. Now it's time to put the fruit on there, as I mentioned. So in total 400 grams of fruits. I always add fruits when the carbs go up. The fruits go up with it. Press everything down a little bit. And then we put it back in the microwave. At least 1.5 minutes. And then I take my supplements in the meantime. That's just going to be omega-3, ashwagandha, magnesium, and apple cider vinegar. I just got this. Good for stomach acidity and digestion. Don't forget the essentials, guys. Here is the whey drip that I put in the fridge. If you can see.
No. Here is the whey drip.
The whey drip, represented by Marley, of course, available. VintageGenetics.com. Use code Olympia for a discount only this week for the Olympia week. Thank you for the golden support, of course. So now that this has warmed up a little bit again, now it is time for the very important whey drip. Nice and thick. And you know, some people don't use fruit as the layer in between the hot rice flour or rice pudding and the whey drip. And what happens is that the whey drip then starts to become way too liquidy on top. But this keeps it nice and thick to create that beautiful layer, kind of a frosting on top. It's kind of like a cheesecake effect. And who doesn't like that, you guys? Remember, after the workout, you want carbohydrates to replenish the muscle glycogen for recovery, but protein is the building block of muscle. So without protein, such as in the whey drip, you won't be able to progress as a bodybuilder. So make sure to always keep your protein nice and high in combination with the carbohydrates post-workout. Anyway, let's enjoy this post-workout victory meal. We're about to go to the grocery store again, but before we do, I'm already gonna put some rice in here so it's already done. So one trick to make rice not stick at the bottom, putting some spray in there. This is the ultimate non-stick baking spray, Uncle Ben's original long grain rice. Okay, so that's gonna be 140. And then the secret of them all, turmeric powder and some oregano. Oregano is very good for digestion as well. I like to put a bit of that in here. And then a bit of turmeric. And you put a little bit of this in there to create that golden rice effect. Now, because we have 140 grams of rice, 420 mils of water, I'm just going to put in around 420. Put it in here, and now we just wait until it is done. Anyway, let's do some groceries. Oh, let's do the same, the Atlantic salmon. You appreciate it. Alright, we returned. Let's put in some of the rice. The bottom is a bit crispy. Time to prepare the meal. I put the vegetables in there. And the ground turkey we just got from Sprouts. Yes, I'm listening to you guys. High quality meat. Oh. I'm gonna wash the hands anyway. Wash the hands first. Vegetables. There's going to be a lot of mushrooms and also one of my favorites, the pumpkin. The nice thing about mushrooms is you don't have to cut them. That's the big benefit, because prepping vegetables always takes a while. That's not always what you want to do when you have to create a lot of meals. So we take this bowl, just dump this in here, dump this in here, So we have a variety of mushrooms. Shiitake mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, brown mushrooms, just like that. Might as well. And then add a little bit of this. First, I'm gonna need a cutting board, however. Perfect. And a beautiful IKEA knife. Love this one. Because the mushrooms are done really quickly, but the squash is not, so you want to cut this a little thinner. Also a beautiful vegetable with a low amount of fiber. I'm keeping the fiber relatively low. Maximum of 50-55 grams a day. No, it's not low for most people, but pretty low for me. Look, now I can just do this. With the mushroom just into little chunks, like that. Because this will shrink in the pan anyway. And you use a scissor for the shiitake mushrooms. Like that. And you can pull this apart, the oyster mushrooms. As you can see. Do we have anything else left here? This is a part of a king mushroom. It's a bit more tough, as you can see. So I want to cut it up like this though. Put it in the pan. Look at that beauty. And now, again with this one, in total 3 grams will be added. A little bit to here, a little bit to here. We're not done yet. I'm gonna add some spices. I recently have fallen in love with chives. And I don't understand why people don't like to experiment with spices and herbs. It just adds flavor, but every single spice has its own health benefits. And we are going to come out with a cookbook, me and Marcel, the previous chef, teacher, cook at my university, where I studied for nutrition and dietetics. We together have created a cookbook which will come out after the Olympia, in which I will explain a lot about, this ingredients and how I make all my famous meals, like the golden rice and also the victory breakfast, the victory meals, and also the role that these spices and herbs play in your health and your bodybuilding progress. So now all we do is put this on here, let it steam in its own heat, put this down a little bit, turn this over, look at that. And now we just wait. Supplement time again. Let me take them out for you guys. 2 omega-3s again. Astragalus for the kidneys. 2 times magnesium. A lot of people are deficient in magnesium. This is magnesium bisglycinate, the best absorbing magnesium there is. It can cross the blood-brain barrier for not only muscle relaxation, but also brain relaxation. And then also 2 apple cider vinegar tablets. And that's what I take literally every single meal of the day. Just like that. Always take it right before eating the meal. And then in the meantime, we're also still going to cut up a beautiful cucumber. Don't forget to wash the cucumbers. And don't forget to remove the plastic. But don't cut into the plastic because you might push it inside the cucumber. That's not what you want. Always wash your vegetables. Except for like the things like mushrooms and stuff, there's no need. And why am I adding the cucumber? Is what I've been doing the whole prep. Like usually about 150 grams of cucumber. Why? For volume, for health. The green skin, it's all healthy, guys, and I'm gonna keep doing this consistently. Only if my digestion will be messed up and my weight would somehow remain too high for the weight limit, I'm gonna remove this. But during the peak week loading protocol, which you will be part of as well, so don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button. But you will see that I take out most of the vegetables, especially the amounts now. Like right now, there's about 300 grams of vegetables in every meal. Health to me is key to progress, but it will be reduced to 50 grams or even 25 grams on the peak week, and on the show day itself 0 grams to keep the stomach as tight as possible. But to me, nothing beats health and vegetables and fruits. That's why I eat so much of it, like at least 800 grams of fruit and maybe up to 2 kilos of vegetables a day. But for now, it's important to still keep eating those vegetables for volume, health, and consistency. Now we can add this rice to it. Beautiful. I forgot to add one more spice, black pepper. You see, guys, how delicious you can make your meals look, even in the last week before the Mr. Olympia. Now, the final ingredient, Frank. French's classic yellow mustard. And this, it's not ketchup, as you can see, it's a little different color. Barbecue sauce by ESN, ultra light sauce. I took this in my bag because you can only take 100 mils in your sauce bottle or any water bottle to go into the airplane. So I use this to make my meals taste better on the plane, to be able to eat it without adding any calories mostly. Also low in sodium, so I also actually, as you can see, it's quite liquidy. I add a bit of water myself to thin out the amount of sodium and the calories it does contain, and put all the ingredients together. Ground turkey, doesn't that look good? Now we're adding this, also measured of course, 25 grams of this, and about 15 grams of this. Consistency is always going to be key. Let's enjoy. Alright, time for the next meal, and this one will be exactly the same as the previous one, so already pretty much prepared it. Now I'm doing the same thing over again, but just to show you that as bodybuilders we are very consistent in what we do. So we have the same ingredients here, the same mushrooms, the squash or the pumpkin, you've got the cucumber right here, and the other half of the ground turkey, organic ground turkey, and also again these supplements, because there's very low fat in the diet right now, especially then the omega-3s are very important. Omega-3s are essential fatty acids, good for, the cell membranes to be able to give and accept signals, but also healthy skin, also healthy eyes, healthy brain, cholesterol, all that good stuff. And because it's essential, that means you need to get it from the diet. So either from supplements or fatty fish, but we all know almost nobody likes fatty fish. I do, but the rest doesn't. So that's why supplementing with omega-3 is something you should really, in my opinion, do. I always take at least 10 to 12 capsules a day, which you might think is overkill, but my cholesterol is extremely low, my LDL cholesterol. So even if your HDL cholesterol, which would be the good cholesterol, is also low, if there's nothing bad going on within the blood to clean up for the HDL cholesterol, you're always going to be safe with a low LDL, which is what omega-3 can provide for you. So of course, it only works when the diet itself is healthy and your lifestyle is healthy as well, but it can always provide you with enormous benefits. And I always say, the healthier you are, the more progress you're able to make in your fitness journey as well. So whether it's burning fat, building muscle, getting stronger in the gym, being healthy is more progress as well. So those supplements really help me get through the entire prep, for example, for this Olympia. I do my blood work. I already did the blood work, which I'll show you in the near future of what it really is a few weeks before the Olympia itself. You can see the truth there. how important a healthy diet, a lifestyle, and supplementation can be, even for professional bodybuilder. Just imagine the effect it will have on you, not putting your body under so much strain. But yeah, health is something you cannot play around with, and there's no price equaling good health. Anyway, let's combine all the ingredients. Before the ground turkey, we still have the rest of our rice left. Now we can take this out. I do still prefer the rice cooker that I have at home, the crock pot, because the rice in there stays a lot more moist. Here it dries up a little bit, reducing some of that volume. But anyway, because let's see how much it actually is in cooked weight right now. Of course, this is golden rice, but you can see it's quite dehydrated, but it's still delicious compared to rice. But it's only 180 grams in total, and this could have been, 70 plus 210, around 290, at least 250. So we're missing some quality grams of rice right here. And now we're adding the final piece to the side right here. Just look at that creation, guys. Gotta be honest, it looks pretty good. Now the final part is, of course, again, adding the deliciousness in the form of the sauces. It's always nice to be able to add that. People are always afraid in peak week, they start removing all kinds of stuff. But if you look good already, and you've been able to achieve a certain shape using certain condiments, why not just keep them in? Why change so much? That would not be wise or necessary, mostly. But the least factors you change when you look good, the better the outcome is going to be, for at least for me. So again, as long as you measure everything out, it's always going to be golden. Or just like this. Kaboom! And there we have it. Let's grab a spoon and enjoy this meal once again. Alright guys, it is time for the final meal of the day. And this meal, I usually don't like to add too many carbs to this. So it's going to be an egg white meal. So these are going to be a few of the ingredients. We first have some smoked sockeye salmon. I'm going to put 25 grams of this into the pan. We're just going to serve as a nice layer below the egg white. So just taking out around 25 grams, cutting it into little pieces, like that. I'm not adding too much because this of course contains quite some sodium, but as always it's all measured and put into, I actually use Chronometer as a tracking app instead of MyFitnessPal, for example. So you can also track all the sodium, potassium, all the minerals, whether to see whether you're in a deficiency or not. But you can see the sizzling already, which is going to give these egg whites a delicious flavor, and it's healthy as well. Wild caught sockeye salmon. So that is done. Now I'm going to put this right here. Lower this already a little bit. Shake it up. Organic egg whites from Sprouts, where we went today. We'll measure out about 300 grams. Put the lid on it. So that's protein source number one. Now before going to bed, I always like to up the protein source a little bit. So protein source number two, and also including the fat content, is going to be organic Nordic salmon. It smells good because it's fresh. So I put that in here. Skin side down. Don't take off that skin. Salmon is supposed to be served with the skin. Actually healthy omega-3 fats in there as well. We got this at Sprouts too. High quality fish, very important. So on there, we are already going to put a little bit of salt, always measured. So in total, this will be a little more here. This will contain 3 grams of salt as well. And one of my favorite herbs, some dill. Oh, that smells good. Some dill always goes very well with salmon, obviously. Gonna put that on there. And to prevent the oil from splashing around. Kaboom. Now, as this is starting to prepare, we're gonna work on the vegetables. And the vegetable component is once again nice and high. So we're gonna put in around 150 grams of asparagus. Like this. So right here I actually have 190 grams. Why would I do that? Because you always gotta take off the very end of the asparagus. Because that's gonna be chewy, not delicious at all, and pretty much inedible. So do the same here. Make sure it's all nicely lined up. Like this. Take off the ends and cut them in half again. Put them in the steamer container for the microwave. Then we have around 140 grams, which is fine. Wash it, as always. And then the rest will be filled with these king oyster mushrooms. These are nice and big, as you can see. That's why they're called king. That looks good already. And on there we're going to put some different herbs. Some thyme leaves. Always got to smell. Ooh yeah. Ooh, that smells very fresh. Very nice. So when you steam something and then you put some thyme or other spices with it, it absorbs that flavor. Now you see the smoke right here? That is not what we want. So you gotta pay close attention. I'm turning a little black. You see that? The skin is already done. And we're going to leave it like this until the entire salmon is cooked through. Always check this as well to see how watery it is. You can put it down a little bit because this will be steaming for around 6 minutes. Just like this. And yes, I know, steaming in a plastic container isn't the best, but every now and then you gotta use what you have. We don't have a crock pot, which is metal at home, so just gonna use what we have. And then we still have the supplements, so we have different supplements this time before sleep. We of course still have the omega-3s, we have the magnesium, the apple cider vinegar, but this time we also, let's actually ingest this first. We also have the ashwagandha right here. Ashwagandha is very important because it lowers cortisol levels, it lowers anxiety levels, so especially post-workout and before bed you want to take ashwagandha to reduce those stress levels. Gets you to sleep easier, better night's rest, and it lowers those tension feelings you might have after a workout, especially when you work out at night. Take ashwagandha to alleviate that effect. And then finally, even more important, curcumin. This is the active component in the turmeric I use for my golden rice. However, turmeric by itself is not really bioavailable unless you combine it with black pepper extract, piperine, which ESN always puts in their supplements. But this is a liquid form of curcumin, which means it's bioavailable by 95% more than regular curcumin or turmeric. And this lowers inflammation in the entire body, also lowers water retention, which is what we need for bodybuilders to show their muscles in all their glory. So I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to up the dose of this on non-training days, because you don't want to take this right after a workout because it's so strong, it actually blunts the workout effect. That's how powerful this is. So if you train in the morning, take it in the evening. If you train in the evening, take it in the morning. On the rest day, morning and evening. And now we basically wait until the vegetables are steamed. Alright, we're going to use a trick. The fat that came off the salmon, we're not going to use to fry this off a little bit. The last bit of salt, half a gram, I'm going to put on here. Perfection, perfection. So, this is the final meal of the day. I'm actually going to be eating it literally from the pan because there's no plate big enough here in this house. That's what I usually do with a meal like this. Don't worry, I won't damage the bottom at all. But anyway, this was my full day of eating leading up to the carb loading days before the Mr. Olympia. I've shown you plenty of what I like to eat in terms of how much fruits and vegetables I like to add. So that's really the most important takeaway message here. The health incorporated within the meals will bring a world-class physique to the stage. So don't think you have to skip on the vegetables. Don't think you have to skip on the fruits or just stick to chicken and rice or beef and rice or white fish and rice. Add those herbs, add those spices, fruits and vegetables. Find what works for you, what digests for you, and you'll feel a lot better, a lot healthier for it as well. Now it's time to eat this, go to sleep, and see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Daily videos will be uploaded leading up to the Mr. Olympia itself. I'm so super excited. Thank you for the positive feedback, guys. Thank you for following me, leaving all those incredible comments. And don't forget to stay golden.